From the workshop floor,
we are getting our auras read as a believer,
a skeptic,
and a curious friend.
I was wondering if mine would just be like black, because it's like, you
so
don't believe
that's
it's
not
black.
possible. Okay. That means that you're not alive.
Yeah.
In people's homes, I always like to recommend like bringing some element of the chakras that they need into their space.
Did it work?
You have very strong boundaries. So we're gonna talk about your boundaries now.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Are you ready?
So today we are diving into the world of aura reading with our very special guest, Evelyn. She is the founder of Rose Aura here in Toronto. Can you tell us a little bit about your business and how you got started?
So I've been doing this, doing aura photography for about 8 years now, and I started in Toronto because there wasn't anyone doing it here. So I lived in New York previously, and there was one of these cameras really close to where I used to live. I used to do it all the time, and I came back to Toronto, I couldn't find a camera, and said, you know what, maybe this is something that I could potentially do. So I've been doing it ever since. It's essentially a picture of you and a picture of your energy, and it's a really fun thing to do. We're gonna talk a lot about it today.
I think we have a few different perspectives here on the floor today. I am a believer for sure. I think Kelsey's more of a skeptic.
Yeah.
And Rochelle's here for a good time, so maybe we can convince her one or the other.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
And before we sat down, we got our pictures taken. But this wasn't just a regular picture. It was an aura photo. So can you explain what we're going to be seeing in this photo today?
So what we're going to be seeing is you in that moment.
Okay.
So our auras essentially change second to second, and we're seeing when you put your hands on the sensors. So what that's showing is you in that moment, what your energy looks like, what chakras are strong, and it's essentially a snapshot of time. So it's not necessarily like who you are as a person. It's not necessarily going to continue forever, but it's showing you in that moment what your energy looks like.
So it's relating to chakras, because I've definitely heard of that before.
Yes.
Okay. The photo is only from the mid up?
The picture is from the mid up, but the aura is essentially all around you.
Okay.
So the chakras, like...
Well, I'm just wondering, I see other chakras here, and I'm wondering if those ones are seen or not.
Yes, they're all seen.
Okay.
So the chakras are from the base of the spine to the top of the head. The word chakra translates to wheel or disc, so each chakra is like a spinning wheel of energy throughout your body.
Okay.
So what we're taking a look at in the photos are what chakras are spinning the largest at that time. At any given point, some spin greater, some spin smaller. They're always like flowing, so your aura is constantly changing. This is showing you like the snapshot when you put your hands on the sensor. So it's showing you right now what your aura looks like.
Okay.
But that could be any chakra throughout the base of the spine to the top of the head. It's just what's spinning the largest.
Ready?
Yeah. I have so many questions, but I feel like you need to tell us about our auras first.
All right, are we ready to see them?
I think
Yeah.
so.
So that one's mine.
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm going to say, at the very least, it's a very pretty photo.
Absolutely.
But it's also so nice to see how like different everybody is and how reflective that is of like whatever we're going through individually, right? So the way that we read these photos is that this is your past 2 weeks, which is your outgoing energy. This is your future 2 weeks, which is your incoming energy. The top is your current energy, so what you're currently feeling, and the very top is your energy level. So your energy level's high, your energy level's high, your energy level's a little bit lower.
Not surprising.
So it's okay. Auras can be up to 9 feet in diameter. We don't typically think like, what's the size of my aura today? But if you're feeling a little bit more tired, if you want to protect yourself, you keep it a little bit closer to your body. So both of these photos are showing kind of like, hello, here we are, versus you're just like, hello, like a little bit lower, but not a problem. Root is grounding. That's like your connection to self.
Okay.
Orange navel chakra, it's creativities, passions, desires, confidence.
Okay.
Yellow solar plexus is your humor, your fun, your positivity.
Okay.
Heart chakra is growth and change. It's leading with love. It's a boundary. It's opening your heart.
Okay.
Throat chakra is communication, speaking the truth, hearing the truth.
Yep.
Indigo brow chakra is intuition. Your intuition, your third eye, your sixth sense. And your violet crown chakra is your spiritual connection. Now, we have a lot of focus in your photo on intuition and communication. And in the past 2 weeks, you had a lot of intuition around you. You also have a lot of intuition in your body. Trust your body above all things. Try not to overthink it. Try not to second guess it. I do find that the most intuitive people are often the biggest overthinkers, so you really need to trust yourself. But if you get nothing else from this reading, it's that your body knows what's up. So like listen to what your body's telling you always. Okay. But when we look at your communication, it looks like you've been really doing a lot of thinking about what you want to say and how you want to say it. And you're not entirely sure but what that message is going to sound like. Now, when I look over your heart, see how that you have like a light blue spot over your heart? You already know. Like in your heart, that message is already there. So again, you can't overthink it, you can't second guess it, but we also tend to think about communication as something that we like have to grapple with up here. Feel it in your heart instead, and then express it. Okay, you already know what you're talking about. Now, when we look above on your mind and above the head, and also in the next 2 weeks, we have your green heart chakra, which is located over the heart. This can mean the most because it's centrally located. So this can mean love and forgiveness. This can mean focus on career. It can mean that you're going through a period of growth and change. It can mean that you're leading with your heart and being a positive change. And it can also be seen as a boundary. So it definitely looks like there's an element of like protection that you're thinking about, protection that you're offering yourself. At the top of the photo, it's important because auras are 3-dimensional. So whatever's at the top is also in front of you. You're actually saying, hello, here I am. This is my space, but like, these are my boundaries. So a strong sense of protection. Now, in the next 2 weeks, we have your yellow solar plexus, which is located between your belly button and your heart. This can be humor, fun, and positivity. It can be like a glass is half full energy, but it is also a physical energy of like getting things done. So you probably have a lot of lists where it's like, I gotta go here, I gotta go there, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. A lot of go, go, go in your next couple of weeks. But with like a base of protection that you're offering yourself, just try to pace yourself and breathe. Okay. We also have these 2 orbs over here. Orbs can be seen as either guides or spirits. So you're not alone in this photo. You actually have extra like help and support around you, especially in your next 2 weeks, especially when it comes to your communication and the flux that's around. So just trust. Things are in your space. Things are looking out for you. You're in the right place at the right time. You got this. Now we do have a little bit of overthinking. So there's a little bit of violet over here in the next 2 weeks, which is your crown chakra. And typically it's a spiritual understanding that everything is connected because everything is made of energy, but it also indicates a lot of brain activity. Defer to your body. Listen to what your body's telling you. You know what the answers are, okay? Now, because you are like exclusively in your spiritual body, we do have a lot kind of going on in the next couple weeks physically. I do want you to think about these 2 chakras here. So your root chakra and your navel chakra. Your root chakra is your grounding life force, your power, your vitality, your sense of self. But I want you to really think about you as your own priority. So like, how do you feel comfortable? How do you feel safe? Give yourself those things. Try to eat a lot of root vegetables. Anything that grows underground, you're gonna ground yourself from the inside out. Spend as much time as you can in nature, touching trees, touching rocks, like lie down in the grass, take your shoes off, really connect to the earth. The last thing I want you to really think about doing is something creative and physical. So like drawing, painting, sculpting, crafting, dancing. But try a new medium. Try something where you're just kind of like getting messy and just creating for the sake of creating. It doesn't matter what it looks like at the end, but because you are really focused on how you want to express yourself, try a different way. Try a new medium, try something where you're just kind of like letting it flow, and that might help everything kind of like come together. But you're doing a lot of like outside thinking. I want you to think a lot about yourself. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
Wow. Some might say I'm an overthinker from time to time and maybe don't communicate a lot of those things outward.
But you're thinking about it.
Thinking about it, for sure.
Take it in and see how that feels. But yeah, there's a lot of intuition around you, and that's what I want you to like take from this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have a collection of predominantly stone eggs.
Okay.
I don't know if the shape means anything in the grand scheme of things, but I do remember the second one that I got that sort of jump-started this collection was one that I was not expecting. It wasn't even in a metaphysical store or anything like that. It was in an airport in Cuba in a gift shop.
Okay.
And it just was like this little gray, I think it's like granite or something like that, egg. And I felt like it called to me.
You needed it.
I needed it in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's just, so I do see here under each of the chakras that there are lists of gems and minerals. Now, are those ones where like if I'm missing some of my root or navel chakra, that some of these gems brought into my life can help to boost that?
Yes.
Okay.
So essentially the color of the stone will correspond with the color of the chakra. So what we always want to think about balancing, obviously, but you're going to think about more of these like reds and orange stones. So carnelian, tiger's eye would be really nice for you as well. You can do obsidian, you can do black tourmaline, but we want to think about like grounding stones. So granite would actually be pretty nice as well because it's a very like earthly stone, which works with the energy to balance your energy out. Okay. So I like that as well. And in terms of the eggs, I think the egg's a really interesting shape. The shape of the crystal will affect how it is kind of like dispersed energetically. If it is a smooth surface, it will kind of emanate from like around this crystal. If it is, let's say, a cluster, so it has like lots of different like points, those will shoot kind of all over the room. So you're kind of like radiating, like the energy is radiating out of those eggs.
Okay.
So it's a nice like smooth kind of like open way to connect to it, but also a great way to use your intuition and connect to what crystals like you're drawn to. So you did exactly what you needed to do. Fantastic and perfect. But continue to use your intuition to like connect with different crystals. But I also want you to think a little bit more about reds and oranges.
I can do that.
Can you explain to me how like what we did out there made this?
So your hands are connected to your organs, and your organs are connected to your chakras. So when you put your hands on the sensors, they send the information to the camera, and it shows up in your open chakras. The word chakra translates...
What do you mean open chakra?
So the chakras that are spinning the largest. So the ones that aren't in the photo are the ones that are spinning a little bit smaller. So in that photo, particularly like these two chakras, they're spinning a little bit smaller. That's what we want to kind of give a little bit more love to, so these can open up and align with the ones that are already open.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So that's what
and that's like literally because we're not seeing those colors in there.
Exactly. Your hands and your feet are like energy portals. They're constantly like expelling ions. The camera has two sensors with different plates over the hands. So essentially, where the energy is coming off of your hands is connected to the different organs, which are connected to the different chakras, and it's picking up that feedback.
Okay, interesting.
Are you ready?
I guess. You just read Rosh like through and through, so...
So there is a lot of energy around you where you're pushing your body. In the past to the future, we have your red root chakra, which is located at the base of your spine. Now, root chakra, when it's bright, is power, vitality, sense of self, stability, security, sense of adventure, new beginnings. When it goes a little bit more dim, it can also mean overworked. It can also mean overtired. There could be a bit of stress. There could be a bit of anxiety. And when the red's all around you, your energy is really like, go, 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 go. You're pushing your body. You're getting things done. You're probably clenching. Do you find yourself like keeping your body in a little bit?
I hold a lot of tension in my shoulders.
I want you to think about shaking more.
Yeah.
So if you notice yourself kind of keeping it in, shake it out, release it, and breathe as much as possible. Your homework is also breathing. You got this.
You're asking a lot.
You got this. You're gonna shake, you're gonna breathe, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing. Now, in the past 2 weeks, we do have a little bit of orange navel chakra here, which is located 2 fingers below your belly button. And it can be creativities, passions, desires, confidence, but it is also where your emotions are stored. So there might have been like a bittersweet or nostalgic energy in your past 2 weeks. And in the future, your body's going to just be a little bit more tired. So just give yourself extra space, extra grace, like whatever you need, like you're the priority. Okay. It looks like you're talking about what's going to be coming up in the next 2 weeks as well. So you're actively kind of like talking about what's going on. We see it in your heart. We see it over your throat. But above your head, this is also really interesting. We have a lot of pink. We have violet. We have a little bit of indigo. And then you can also see very subtly, it's lined with a little bit of green. Now, the pink is not a traditional chakra color. It's a secondary color of your green heart chakra, which means unconditional love and compassion. And this is something that you're giving out to others, even though like you're pushing your body. What that does let me know though, is that you might be giving a little bit more than you're receiving. So you're like running around and you're doing all this stuff and you're giving love and giving joy and giving things out to others.
Oh yeah.
I want you to think about giving it to yourself first and then pouring from a full cup.
Again, like
You got it. Trust me.
No, you're right.
You're gonna
And
breathe.
this is really good advice. Yeah.
Now we have violet crown chakra and a little bit of indigo brow chakra. Crown chakra is your spiritual connection. So typically this is the understanding that like everything is connected because everything is made of energy. And I do see that you're feeling like plugged in. See these like vertical lines above your head?
Oh, I'm locked in these days.
So those are called channels. They're called channels, which indicate that you're connected up to your higher self without ego. So even though you are like in a much more physical place, you still have like a spiritual pull and a spiritual connection. Now the violet crown chakra can also indicate a lot of brain activity, a lot of thinking, a lot of thoughts, maybe a little bit of overthinking.
Yeah.
So I do want you to defer to the intuition that we do see in the next 2 weeks. I see intuition, but the way that that's showing up is letting me know you might not be trusting it. You need to trust yourself. Okay? Don't overthink it. Don't second guess it. You know what the answers are. Now, what we want you to think about are the things that aren't in the photo. Number 1, I want you to think a little bit more about your joy, like your silliness, your fun, your laughter. Just make sure you're like having a good time.
Yeah.
Okay? So joyful, silly, fun. I want you to think also about your communication and speaking from the heart. So it looks like you're talking, like you're speaking from your mind, you're speaking about like what's coming up, but I want you to think about like what you're feeling in your heart, especially since your heart is open, and really focus on expressing that. Don't overthink it, trust yourself.
Okay.
Breathing is gonna be really important. So breathwork or meditation, if you're interested in breathwork or meditation, I highly recommend either or, but
I think
whatever.
I've been holding my breath this whole time.
Exactly. So you probably have the tendency to kind of like keep it in, and that will bring your energy in a little bit as well. So thinking about being kind of like loose and open and shaking and breathing, that's what we want you to think about. Okay.
I definitely can see where I've been extending myself and like lead with my heart and like empathy and love all the time, but I don't always give that to myself first.
Yeah.
And that's something I've been really working towards. So me bringing in my energy is something I've been like trying to figure that out to do so, but it doesn't feel natural to me. So it's like we're finding the balance, obviously.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
And there is balance to this photo with your physical body and your spiritual body, but just make sure like you're more of the focus.
Yeah.
When you say you can see that she's talking, like out loud, how can you see that?
So there is just a subtle hint over the throat, and that lets me know like what the communication is showing. So there's different points of like the aura photo that will show over the body. So you can see like in your heart, you have that message there. Over like your throat, you're kind of like focused on that expression, versus we are thinking about the communication, like it's coming from the throat. It's just like, it's a little bit faint and it corresponds with this message, like with what's coming up in the future. And so sometimes people have like a message in their heart. Sometimes people have something going on over their body. Sometimes people have something like that they are speaking out, and that will really show on the different parts of the body in the aura photo.
Obviously, these are like aura photos of us, and it's like a reading of us, but it seems like there's a lot of, obviously, like focus on you and putting yourself first. Like, are you ever doing a reading and you're like, you are like
Ego.
yeah
Self-serving.
focus more on other people,
Yeah.
like you're too self-serving?
Or you maybe keep those opinions to yourself.
It depends. That wouldn't necessarily show up. Like somebody could be very like grounded and powerful and like in their own power, and that would show a lot of like really strong red, really strong like powerful energy. You would like see it in the photo. Essentially, it's not necessarily to say like, ooh, there's something wrong here. It means that they need to kind of focus a little bit more on their spiritual body, right? So everything is about balance, and that's what we want to think about with these photos. Ideally, we want everything. We want full rainbow, base of the spine, top of the head. That is the rarest thing I see. So
When you say everything, what is that other than like spine, all the chakras, like what does that actually mean when you're like, you want everything? Like
full rainbow.
Like,
Like
it
your
means
whole
but what is
photo.
that? Like
Oh,
that
it
means
means
you
that
want
you're aligned. Yeah,
Okay.
you want grounded, you want creativity, you want joy, you want your heart
Okay.
open, you want communication, you want intuition, you want your spiritual body.
Okay,
You
that's
want
what.
everything to be in
Balance.
alignment.
Yeah.
So flowing at the same size, flowing at the same speed, where everything is showing up in the photo. But that's the rarest thing I see, where somebody's coming in and sitting down and feeling like, bam.
I will say last time I did this was a year ago, 2 years ago, and my photo was the most colorful, rainbowest thing ever, and I had 3 orbs above it, and I was coming in today being like, girl, come in with that crazy energy.
Yeah.
But I have been like not like I'm a totally different person than I was
It's a different
at that
place,
point
yeah.
in time. So it's just interesting.
It can happen when we're feeling quote unquote the best, and also when we're feeling quote unquote the worst, because in both situations we're feeling the most. So essentially what we want is to be connected to every part of ourselves, to not kind of like close off something or not feel something. And so that's why the rainbow is so important, and it can happen when you're feeling maybe not so great, but you're feeling everything, and that's really what we want to see.
I feel like I fully believe the message, and it's all it's all positive. Like it's true with breathing and like, you know, listening to your heart. I believe in all that. I'm just like scientifically, I'm like, how does this picture, like, how do these things in my body, which like energy is obviously hard to, I mean, you might not say it's hard to measure, but I feel like it's hard to measure because it's not a physical thing that we can like study under a microscope. But yeah, like in order to get this projection outward and see it physically, like I think that's just the hard part for me. Which
For sure. I mean, it's something that like we can all feel, right? Like we feel energy, we sense energy,
Yeah.
like we understand energy, but because we can't see it, it's like a big mystery to us, right? This technology is based off of kirlian photography, which was invented in Russia in the early 1900s. And so essentially that was like a plate where they put a hand on it, you could put a leaf on it, and at that time they recognized, oh, there's energy around a hand, there's energy around a leaf, there's like energy around living things. So they understood that at that point. But in the 70s, a group of American scientists got together and said, okay, we want to see the aura. We know that it exists. We know people that can see it. And so
Right.
it was an inventor named Guy Coggins, and this is called a Coggin's cam or an aura cam 6000. So he worked with people that could see energy to make sure like what he was getting was accurate. He worked on it over I believe it was about 2 decades to like perfect the technology and make sure that, like what you were receiving was like the actual aura. And now it's like the standard in aura photography basically. But the machines have been like scientifically like worked on since the early 1900s. So it's like it does have a root in science, but it's also like pseudoscience at the same time. Like it's something that we don't necessarily think of as science because it is also metaphysical.
What would you call this industry that we're talking about?
Is it a part of like the naturopathic?
I feel like
Not
it blends
necessarily.
like so many different types of
I know.
industries.
You
Like
can't
we
label
have
it.
science, we have like
It's true.
spirituality, we have like belief systems,
Yeah.
and then we have energy, and that we can now physically read in this meter.
Yeah.
And it's all blending. It's like a philosophical thing, which I think we all need to be a lot more of. Gathering information from all different types of walks of
Fair.
life.
100%. I agree with
Because
that.
the more that we like narrow in on like one way of thinking, it's actually really dangerous. For
Dangerous.
everybody.
I
And it's
agree
like
with that.
these all or nothing mentalities are hurting us.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
if you can be more open-minded, like you could be really religious, but just be open and like
100%.
learn and
Yeah.
more curious, less judgmental, you know?
I love that. And then looking at like, I know the top part is the energy. It's also interesting how like how defined Rochelle's line is. And then like yours and mine are a little bit more similar. And then Rachel's is very like,
Fuzzy.
fuzzy. I was like afraid.
Fades, yeah.
Fuzzy, but that's also because she has a lot of like giving energy, right? She's like giving the energy out.
Yeah.
Versus this is like a pretty strong boundary. You have very strong boundaries. So we're gonna talk about your boundaries.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Are you ready? So, past 2 weeks for you, also very busy.
Yeah.
Yellow solar plexus, when it's like neon yellow, it's humor, it's fun, it's positivity.
Yeah.
In this case, it's an energy of like, gotta go here, gotta go there, gonna do this, gonna do that. A lot of like go, go, go around you.
Yeah.
A lot of lists. Now, there is a lot of emotion in this photo in the past and in the future. So, orange navel chakra, again, can be your creativities, your passions, your desires, your confidence, but it is also where your emotions are stored. So, there might be like a bittersweet and nostalgic energy that is around you, and especially into the next 2 weeks. So, your homework is also breathing. You're going to breathe through those emotions, you're going to thank them, you're going to release them. Now, we have red around you as well. In the past and in the future, we have red root chakra. When it's bright, it's grounding energy. So it looks like things are getting a little bit stronger into the next 2 weeks in terms of power, vitality, sense of self, stability, security, sense of adventure.
I'm laughing because my boyfriend's going out of town.
I mean,
For me out.
there's a lot of emotional energy when that happens. But in the past 2 weeks, it looks like your body was a little bit more tired as you were kind of completing all of these tasks. So a little bit more overworked, a little bit more overtired around you. Now, in your heart, which is really nice, you have a spiritual connection. So not only do you have a spiritual connection, you also have orbs around you. Orbs can be seen as either guides or spirits. So they don't always show up in photos. They show up essentially when you need them. But you have a little bit of extra help in the next couple weeks. Trust that things are in your space. Trust that things are looking out for you. Trust that you're in the right place at the right time. But essentially what they're doing is balancing you spiritually, because you have a lot of like physical energy around you. There's a lot of like power, like dynamic energy. Go, go, go. You're like pushing your body, but you aren't really taking time to like slow down or breathe or like release or relax in that same way. And so we have energies around you that are doing that for you, that are helping to balance you out within your natural boundary. Now, what that's doing is connected to your heart. So you might be feeling that we're all connected. You might be feeling some sense of connection, some spiritual connection, but you have spiritual connection around you. So just like make sure that you're trusting that. Your channels are also really strong. So you have these like strong vertical lines above your head. Like you are connected up in a really strong way, but generally you are more of a physical plane. Now, above your head, we have very strong boundaries. So all of this green at the top is
It's
your heart
murky
chakra.
up there.
That's the boundary. That's you being like, no. So essentially what you're doing is not hiding or shrinking energetically. You're saying, hello, here I am. This is my space, but these are my boundaries. And your boundaries are literally like the whole top of the photo.
Yeah.
So very, very strong boundaries and very much like protecting yourself energetically, but not hiding or shrinking to say like, ooh, don't look at me. You're just like, here I am, but these are my boundaries. You really need to think more about your intuition. You're in a place that is very strong, very physical. You're like next. And when you're in that space, it's difficult to think about what your intuition is telling you because you're so focused on everything that's in front of you. Every so often, your heart knows the answers. Ask your heart the question. Your heart knows things before your brain does. So just like close your eyes, ask your body the question, ask your heart the question. The first thing that you feel, the first thing you think, the first thing that you like answer yourself with, go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to overthink it, try not to second guess it, but making that decision and kind of moving forward with that decision will help from keeping us stuck. Like indecision will definitely keep us stuck, but making a decision and moving forward, and also recognizing we can always like figure it out. We can always retool. We can always like readjust the decision at any point, but just trusting the instinct and going towards it is going to be really, really helpful. It's like a muscle you need to exercise. So like the more that you do it and the more you realize you were right, the easier it becomes to do it, to just kind of not think about it and just trust.
Yeah.
But that's what I want you to think about is the trust. Because you're good at like doing, but I want you to think about just like feeling and just like knowing.
Yeah, I hear that.
What I want you to think about in addition to the intuition, though, is also a little bit more joy. I'm not seeing enough joy right now, so I want everybody to think about like what makes them feel silliest, happiest, like just the most open, but also think about like how you felt when you were a kid. Like we want like that kind of like childlike joy, that childlike wonder, like that's what we want to kind of foster and invite into our spaces. I'm very much a proponent of childlike joy and
Talk
wonder.
about your mug.
Yeah.
So good. Wait, I feel like we need like a bottom. Yeah, so we can see the face.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
But
Chip,
it's
chip?
important. It's chip.
Chip.
Yeah, it's chip. But it's important to like have fun, right? And
Yeah.
it's important to really like be silly and enjoy yourself. And I think that we are, as adults, getting a little bit serious. And the thing that I've really learned about this is we want to be everything. We want to be connected to all parts of ourselves, even if it might feel uncomfortable, if it might not feel the best. We still want to be feeling everything. And so to not cut yourself off from anything, that's what's important.
So then I'm like, oh, I'm open. Okay, I'm learning. It's interesting. But then it's like The Rock, and I'm like, The Rock doesn't. No, it's not The Rock
That's
for me.
okay.
You know what I mean?
You're hyper focused
Yeah.
on like one thing though, when it's always there's always like the bigger picture.
But it also makes sense for your energy because you're very like of the earth, right? You're very like stable and connected to like your body and the physical, right? So to even like open yourself up to something beyond is going to be like the challenge and the balance for you as well. But it makes sense that you would be more skeptical because like you are more kind of in of this plane.
I was wondering if mine would just be like black. Because it's like, you
So
don't
that's
believe
not
it's black.
possible. That means that you're not alive.
Yeah.
So your aura,
no energy.
your aura is essentially like your life force. Like
Yeah.
it's your prana, it's your chi. Like it's the life force that is inside of you. Every living thing has energy around it. Every living thing has an aura. If there's no color, either the camera's broken or you are not alive.
What are you?
Right now, I have a lot of spiritual energy around me coming from the violet crown chakra, but it is a lot of brain activity. Like my mind is always firing. At the very top, I have a lot of intuition. Like there's intuition around me, and I know that I'm an intuitive person, but I'm always thinking. There's just brain activity and go, go, go. There's something kind of like shifting inside of me. Like I'm changing and shifting right now a little bit, and then I got my orbs in the next couple weeks. But basically this is intuition and spiritual connection that I'm just kind of like, so I need more grounding. I need more red light therapy. Like I need to be
Yes.
more in my physical body today.
You want to hang out?
Yeah. We balance each other out in a really nice way. But also when we look at all of these photos together, like we all kind of like make up the whole chakra system together, which is really nice.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we're just missing joy.
A little bit of joy. It's okay. It's totally fine.
Let's hang out and go roller skating.
Exactly. Something silly, something fun. Like there's just, we need to be having fun.
Joy.
Joy.
As much as possible, please. Like that's, if everybody takes something away from that.
Yellow.
Joy.
Just pay attention to how you're connecting with colors, how you're communicating with colors. Same with the crystals as well. Like for your photos, I would definitely recommend lapis lazuli.
Okay.
If that's something that you're open to, crystals, lapis lazuli, that'd be great.
Ooh.
So lapis is actually really cool. It's what Cleopatra used to make eyeshadow. So they used to like grind it up for pigment. It's a very amazing stone, but it also has like pyrite in it. So there's like flecks of gold. It's like
Yeah,
also
so
a little bit
it's
grounding too.
Shine.
But yeah, it's for your intuition. So we want lapis for you.
Okay.
Also maybe a little bit of amethyst wouldn't hurt as well.
I got a couple pieces of that I can lend you for sure. You know what's interesting though? Is that same trip where I picked up that, I'm going to call it my first egg. That started the collection. No.
The most important egg.
The most important egg is also randomly the first time this like really painful head thing happened to me on that flight home.
Huh.
And it was to the point where like I went in the back of the plane to lie down,
Oh,
and they
no.
asked if there was like a medical professional on board.
Oh,
But it was like, it was such a small flight, but like there wasn't, but there was a crystal healer. And she came and she brought me like this piece of rose quartz and she put it on me and she like let me keep it afterwards. And I still have that piece of rose quartz. That's so in my collection.
Yes.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Do we have any doctors? I'm a healer.
Yeah. And honestly, the flight attendants are like, go.
Yeah.
Like, figure it out. She's hurting.
If I could be the person on that plane, like I would, like that is.
Would you do that? If they were like, do we have a medical professional?
I got some rose quartz though.
Yeah.
Like that is amazing. Did it work?
Doesn't matter. Who's
Good
to
story,
say? Because
good
like
story.
I'm still like here, you know, like it could have been worse.
Yeah.
I think you're up in the air, you're terrified.
I know, that's the worst place to feel sick.
Yeah. So I think a big part of that was someone who was willing to be like, I have this system of beliefs and like I'm willing to share that with you. And I was like, yeah, I'm willing to share in that with you in this moment. So I think even just that connection probably helped keep me in the moment and not like spiraling out like what is going on.
Energy she was giving to you too.
You're like, thanks, miss. How can your aura, like, does it reflect any part of your home life or like your space? Because I feel like something physical that really affects me is my space and like the design within my space and just lighting and everything. So like, is there any correlation
So
there?
it definitely can. What I like to think about in terms of spaces, I love a lot of color in spaces because the color will help us connect to the different chakras. So in terms of like in people's homes, I always like to recommend like bringing some element of the chakras that they need into their space.
Oh, interesting.
So either it could be like a mug that they're drinking from, it could be like a book that they're writing in, but just something that if you need a lot of red, try like reds and oranges like in your space. And
Okay.
you might not love it. You might not love it, but which is why I say just like in small kind of tangible ways, like again, a mug, just like something where you can see that color and have that color around. But technically, like people tend to like the colors that are in their aura and tend to not like the colors that aren't in their aura. So it will be a bit of
Where's the
work.
green? Well, you set my boundaries there.
Your boundaries really strong.
Which is green.
Your boundaries
Green
really
is
strong. But like, are these colors that you would prefer?
I do like them. I wouldn't say blue's up there, but I do recognize that there's like the red and orange is something that's very absent in my space.
In your space. So that's what it might be interesting to invite that color into your space in any way that feels kind of intuitively connected to you.
Okay.
So that's in a way that we can connect with our spaces.
Is it because colors like emit certain like frequencies that is like what is directly relating to the chakra frequency, or do you think
Essentially, it's not necessarily the frequency. It's that like in a very like plain way, like the chakra itself gets happy when it sees its color. Like the chakra will just like spin a little bit larger when it's connected. Like it like you can see the color, you can like connect, like that's connected to your body. The chakra will be like ooh, and just open it up a little bit.
Okay.
A lot of the time we're like feeling like don't have color in your home or in your style because it's too expressive and it's too like gonna convey a message that
Or like
maybe
the
you're
red,
not
like people are like,
trying
don't
to
paint it
convey.
red.
Yeah.
When really it's like we should lean into color because it's obviously having an emotional and energetic impact.
Absolutely.
But I feel like because it's not trending or because like you know it's not the thing to do, people shy away from color a lot.
Totally.
But I used to be more like that, but I walk into my home now and there's so much color and it brings me so much joy.
Exactly. Like
So-
the idea that everything has to be like gray and muted and like and clean and like that's great, but like again, where's the fun? Where's the different vibes, different energies, like different like eclectic things that you're bringing into your home? Like I love having different colors and spaces. It's just like it's important. So yes, we want color. We want to be open to everything.
Let's take a deep breath. Rochelle.
Yeah, breathe.
Yeah, we take deep breaths sometimes too.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Actually, we need that before we film our next episode where we get competitive.
Oh yeah.
Who had the best chakra?
Again, it would make sense that you would ask.
Stop knowing me. I'm so exposed.
She's reading.
Yeah. Like, not a believer, but like, it makes sense.
I'm so happy you did this, to be honest.
Evelyn, thank you so much for coming on today. It was so nice to meet you and to experience this. And I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to reference it. And I'm sure we'll see you again. But how can everybody else see you or book with you?
So you can book me through my website. It's www.roseaura.ca, or you can contact me through my Instagram, which is @roseaura.ca.
That was so fun.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you next weekend.
See you. Bye.